I am honored to be here for the moderator for this panel. My name is Sam. My name doesn't matter because you're going to meet a couple of very interesting ladies with amazing backgrounds, and I think you're going to enjoy getting to know them. So my job is just to make sure everything goes smoothly, so I'm just going to say a couple of rules and then I'm done talking. To ask these questions, let's see, we're going to have a microphone. Yes, we've got the microphone right over here in the middle. So just one by one, if you guys want to make a line so that you can ask the questions, that's how we'll ask questions once we open it up for questions. It's that simple. As far as those questions go, if a big line forms, if you're not asking the question and you're waiting in line, if you could stay down, we won't really have this problem, there's not a lot of people in here, but just so you're not blocking anyone's line of sight if you are standing in this middle aisle, just be cognizant of that, maybe crouch until it's your turn to ask your question. Also, for now, since it's just a Q&A, we'll ask that you not ask for like hugs and selfies and that sort of thing. You will have the opportunity to do those things because they will both be up in the exhibitors hall later, so you have the opportunity to ask them to draw or autograph whatever you want. But for now, we'll ask you that you not do hugs and selfies and touching and that sort of thing. And also they will be paneling again tomorrow, so you'll have another opportunity. If you don't get to get a question in today, you'll have that opportunity again tomorrow. Given that there aren't a ton of people here, I hope that you all get to ask whatever questions you want, learn whatever you want. And for now, with your round of applause, I would like for us all to welcome Linda Valentine and Katie Griffin.
I knew that she would run if I did. She did. I totally did. And I have tall shoes on. Thanks. Hi guys, thanks for coming.
Welcome back to Tampa.
How are you two today? How are you feeling?
Awesome. Come on, we're in Florida. We're from Canada. We went swimming this morning. We were very excited.
Do you not normally get to swim with your Canada? Is it too cold?
It's actually super hot normally at this time of year, but for some strange reason, we never got out in the spring, and it's been raining a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of rain. So we're happy to be here. And then, this weekend in Toronto, it's going to be beautiful. Yeah, beautiful sun, and then it says that it was supposed to be thunder and lightning here, we're like, and then of course it didn't, so this morning we made the sun happen. Moon, Mars, sun.
So we can actually open it up to questions. We've got the microphone right there in the center. It's in all of its truly goodness.
Stop pushing each other out of the way. It's okay, everybody. This is your chance to ask the questions you have. Fortune favors the bold. You will leave here and you'll say, I can't believe I asked that question. Yes, you are. Stupid. Oh, I've always wanted to know. Nice to see you. Again.
Testing. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So my question is, during the 90s, having Sailor Moon on your resume, it was easy to look for job for auditioning other careers or shows? Thank you.
It's funny you would say that because not really. I don't think anybody was overly impressed by us, really. Nobody ever is, it seems. We didn't actually know how big Sailor Moon was when we were doing the show. And even though we did a lot of episodes, we had no idea. Yeah, there were a lot of episodes. It was really fun to work all the time. But as far as resumes and everything, to be quite honest, it's called dubbing. So in Toronto, or actually anywhere, it really wasn't a big deal for a resume. No, but what's funny now, I go into a recording, and everybody that's, the producers or whatever that's doing the commercial or the thing, are like, and then the other like, would you mind signing this script? And I'm like, or sometimes they were together, and I can sense it, I know. And we'll say, oh, you're just in a cartoon. You won't even know what it was. It's actually anime and Sailor Moon, and then you can just see. I feel like I just Sailor Moon like Spidey sense. It's like Sailor sense. Her Sailor Moon Spidey sense is anybody basically 28 years old. She's like, I bet you they like Sailor Moon. Yeah, if you pick like a 68-year-old one, I bet you that guy over there likes Sailor Moon, and he says, like, too, then I'd be impressed with you.
Okay. It's on.
Okay, you're always on.
If you could choose any character in the whole series, what character would you play as?
Sailor Mars. No. That's right.
I feel like I played the exact right part, but
If you couldn't play Sailor Moon,
okay,
so we're gonna take that off the table right now.
so it's like she was bad, she was pretty bad, and that's fun. Bad guys are fun to play.
I would be a tuxedo mask. I would show up on time. I'm here to save you. Hey, boy, I'm here to save you. But I haven't even started fighting. I haven't even started fighting. That's okay, I'll help you anyways.
Why are you dressed like that? Why are you so fancy?
Thank you for coming. What's the hardest part in your opinion to be a voice actress or to dub?
It's a good question. I think getting sick. I know it sounds crazy, but if you have a job like years ago, I was Max in the movie, I was Ruby, or like Tokyo Spies, Alex has a really high voice. So she's always telling me up here, and if you get sick, if you get a cold, you're kind of messed up, and you're messing up a lot of people, because then there's a huge cast of, well, not huge, but there's a cast of people that have to. So when you get a cold, you sound all scratchy, and that's the hardest part. It really is.
You lose your voice a lot. So in a show like Sailor Moon, we were screaming for half the episode. And you're not just sort of like, you're like, you want to throw your entire body into the entire thing. You literally did. And for me, they put a bar in front of where I was, so I wouldn't hit the microphone. Because my arms were flailing around so much. So I'm getting exhausted. Like, I think when I was doing Sailor Moon, my body must have been totally ripped. Because you just, and when you do this, like, let's go. Like literally acting with your entire body. It's really tiring.
And it had nothing to do with the fact that we were in our early 20s.
But and then I'd go home and I'd be like, I'm so tired. And my family would be like, oh yeah, we just have to talk into a microphone today. Whatever. Families are cool. Anthony, see the way I just do that? I remember your name just like that. I'm not forgetting it again, Anthony.
I don't remember anything. Oh no, I didn't. You told me, but now.
Well, first of all, great. Welcome back to Tampa Bay.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Much better weather than up in Canada, right?
Go Leafs, go.
Go Jays, go Jays.
Okay. How's everything else going on today? How's the rest? Have you met the rest of the voice actors that did with you in the Sailor Moon series, like Susan Roman? How's she doing?
Well, Susan Roman lives right around the corner from me. Literally. So I just walk down my street, I go around the corner, and she's always in her garden. Susan's a crazy person when it comes to gardening. She is like a gardener like you can't understand how good she is at gardening. She was actually, her garden was in Better Homes and Garden magazine. It's so beautiful. But actually this is kind of a funny story, when she was doing the Better Homes and Garden magazine, she has roses in her garden and it's just phenomenal. She's like, just wait. I have to wait till the roses are open before you come and take all the pictures. So we're like, okay. And it just happened to be a really cold summer and the roses were just like this. They wouldn't open. She's like, I have to open. And every day she'd go outside and go, open. And you do hear her talking to her plants a lot. So this wouldn't happen. Finally, she puts them on for a couple of weeks. And they're like, we have to get this photo shoot done because you're going to be in the magazine. You got to get it done. So she took a hairdryer, each individual rosebud. And before she did, she said, I'm very sorry I have to do this. I hope you'll be okay. And she puts this hot hairdryer to it, and the rose just went. And she said it was the most amazing thing. Every rose in her garden was perfect and open, and the next day they just went, okay. And it just goes back up. She's like, thank you for being there for me. She's crazy.
She's crazy. I didn't even know that.
I know she was a little bit of a but we do see people around. We see see other scouts and stuff, because most of them live in Toronto. So I was driving down my road one day, and on a bike right beside me was Mercury. Sailor Mercury.
She actually works right behind my house, and I didn't even know that until all of a sudden I saw her on her bike. And I went, Karen? Because Sailor Mercury is really hard to get out, and she's a bit shy, and she also doesn't want to do these things, and she's super busy. But I did, Karen, what are you doing here? And she actually works 4 seconds from my house. So, yeah, it's funny.
And I'm in my car driving, and she's on the bike.
Show us
I'm driving. Watch me whip, and watch me whip. And I see her on her bike, and I get right outside her, I go, I'm like, she's like, Linda! No! She didn't kill Sailor Mercury. I didn't kill her, I couldn't.
Hi.
Hi. Can you do your best impression of all the Sailor Scouts?
Of our own character?
No, each one.
Oh, do you want me to do her?
Yeah.
I'm Sailor Mars, and I'm like, don't you like you're marrying me now?
I'll do Sailor Moon. Oh my god, that'll be on the internet. So my kids, my 10-year-old will find it because he finds everything. Everything Star Wars, all the Easter eggs, he'll find this one. He'll say, don't do that.
I'm so nervous here, friends, you know. Look at the meatballs I'm seeing before me. Nice meatballs in the hair.
Hi.
I like the Sailor Scouts, and all of them are my favorite Sailor Scouts.
And I bet Sailor Moon is even more so your favorite, isn't she?
I think Sailor Mars is her favorite. I think she really is saying Sailor Moon, but she's a little confused.
So you like Sailor Moon, the show?
Yeah.
Yes. Yay.
One time, me and my mama watched Sailor Moon.
You got the best mom in the world.
Good show.
Yep.
I feel like we should watch another one. Another Sailor Moon episode.
Uh-huh.
Perfect.
She said exactly what she needed to say.
That's all she needed to say.
Except she should have said Sailor Moon.
Okay, you look fantastic. How long did that take?
I don't know. Marshall, how long did it take? Like 30 minutes, a while. You get boss up.
30 minutes seems pretty good.
I mean, I used to do troll costumes. They take a lot longer because you have to do everything. I cheated. I'm not.
Oh, it's like our tan lines, actually.
Well, welcome to Florida. I was just wondering how you guys feel about the new generation of Sailor Scouts, like the Sailor Moon Crystal generation, and also the new generation of fans and the whole impact that Sailor Moon has had on political feminism and things like that.
Okay, wow, that's a loaded one.
First of all, to the first part, I'm really happy that they came back and started doing this. The fans have waited a really long time.
Yes.
And just to add to this for the last part of it, of course they have to keep it real. That was why it ended in the first place, because there was so much ridiculous censorship that didn't need to happen. But it was the early 90s, so I guess whatever. So now they're getting it right. That's my opinion. I feel like, of course, they gotta come back and tell the real story.
Yeah, I think they're doing a great job. It's totally different, but of course it's going to be, because it's different actors and everything, and they're trying to hold true a little bit more to the manga, which is kind of nice. So I go, and you know what else? We're not going anywhere. The original is always there, so we're like, yeah, more for the fans.
Yeah.
Hello. This may not relate to the TV show, but what are your personal favorite foods?
Favorite food, this is?
Favorite foods?
I'll
Yeah,
tell you,
like
it's not shrimp right now. Yeah, you know, I had dinner last night, let's just say the shrimp was not as good as they said it was going to be.
It's okay, we're okay now. We're okay.
So wait at night, let's just say.
I like noodles.
Canadian bacon?
Yeah, bacon's good.
Yes, I love sushi. I can eat my weight in sushi. I'm a pizza girl, so I'll like,
Yeah, pizza.
Go pizza. Like, we got a vortex.
I'm a steak girl. Give me a big.
I know this is gonna sound silly because of the meatballs and everything, but I do like spaghetti and meatballs.
She does.
Yeah.
You go to a restaurant, she's
Spaghetti.
like, just meatballs on the menu. She's like, meatballs. I'm like, who gets meatballs? I get meatballs. Let's get meatballs. Yeah.
It's a good question. I like these questions because they're different. The curveballs. Yeah, curveballs.
What is the hardest emotion to voice act?
That's a good question too.
I know this is gonna shock you, but I think laughing is harder than like emotional things because to make it sound real, you're tensing everything and yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'll sound like a cackle, it has to sound believable. So.
I don't mind laughing so much, that's funny. And I think it's because my grandfather used to do that. He would also just start to laugh. Like he'd be like this, and he'd go, and I'd be like, don't, Grandpa, don't. And we'd just go hysterically laughing until we all had tears running down our faces, and then we just stop.
I feel like you did that on purpose.
Okay, what is the hardest for me? What is the hardest emotion? You know what? I think for me, probably more tenderness. I know, that sounds stupid, doesn't it?
No,
Like, that sort of love and gentleness, because we're always like, can you be a little nicer? And I'm like, this is the face they have, right? I was, can you smile? I am.
Hello. You said you were the voice for Ruby on Max and Ruby.
Yeah.
My 12-year-old grew up on Max and Ruby. My question is, do you think the grandma on there let Max get away with too much crap? Because you were always like, oh, Max, and she was like, it's okay, give him a cookie.
I feel like, here's my honest opinion on this, and I have kids, I have 2 boys. My only problem with this is that Ruby was so bossy all the time. Now, that's probably because there were no parents. So, where are the parents? She does have parents now, though. Oh, see, I only did season 1. She's in season
I was Candy in Max and Ruby, so I was a candy store girl. And my favorite thing always was whenever I saw them, it would always be, the line was supposed to be, hello Max, hello Ruby. And I would always go, hello Max, Ruby. Every time I look at her, thank goodness we got that out of the way, and you do it properly now. But she was always a little evil Ruby, man.
See, I think so when I did it, and also it was, it was a stressful kind of situation. They didn't want, anyways, a whole lot of things. But Ruby was always so bossy, so my whole script would be, no, Max, like always kind of shutting him down, and I just thought, poor kid. But I also have a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I watched my 10-year-old doing that to Wyatt, and I'm like, no, be nicer. So,
Don't be Ruby.
Don't be Ruby. Let him play.
I just thought the grandma always was like, Max would tear up the whole house, and then the grandma would be, here, have a cookie.
Well, but funny true story, my parents, my mom has blonde hair, and she looks just like me, but my sister and I look the same, and then we call her Blondie. So whenever the kids go to Blondie's house, my mother always jokes saying, there are no rules. And they wake up and they have cupcakes for breakfast, and then they come home and they're all crazy because they have sugar all day.
That's what grandmothers are like. Incidentally, the woman who is the grandmother in it is in her 90s, and she's still doing it. They just pick her up and she's like, I can't believe I'm still doing this. She's the sweetest thing about the planet.
Hey, yeah, that's right. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, how do you feel about the initial relationship between Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon?
So how do I feel? Or how did I feel? Well, she was very confused by it. Shouldn't have happened, but you know. I have to be honest, we didn't get the scripts ahead of time. I thought that I thought Mars, even though it was called Sailor Moon, I thought she was going to be a Darien. I thought, no, it's fine. Have your little romance, it's fine. He's coming back. But then Chad came onto the scene. So initially when I would do it, because I had no context of the series, I was like, oh, that's fine, it's fine. But then Chad came onto the scene, and I'm a goofball in real life. I'm like, no, it should be Chad. It's fine. So that's my reaction.
I knew she was going to get along.
We're back! What? And
what's your favorite Sailor Scout?
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Mars.
Okay, if we couldn't pick our own, let's say that. If we couldn't pick our own Sailor Scouts, who would you pick, Katie?
I'm pretty close to. Maybe in real life, but I picked Jupiter. Damn it.
I like the Day of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question for you. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is pink.
Hey! Favorite color. So mine is orange. Orange, yeah. I like green, which is why I said that. Green is plus genius is favorite.
Incidentally, my favorite Sailor Scout, it varies, but I would actually pick Mars.
Thank you.
Don't tell her at all. As if she didn't know. That's just a day though.
Hi, thank you for coming. I was dragged to this convention by my friend. I was dragged to this panel by my friends, and I've never watched Sailor Moon before. Can you give me a reason why I should?
Can somebody please have this one removed?
I like anime, I just haven't watched Sailor Moon yet. I'm sorry.
What is wrong with you, child?
Okay, my brain's rejecting this.
Let's just say a slideshow where there's 5 strong females. They're not all the same. They all have their distinct own personalities. There's something for everyone. Everybody could identify with one of the scouts who goes, that's who I am. That's who I want my best friend to be. It was awesome. And they had each other's backs, but they also weren't afraid to say, you're an idiot. What are you doing? It's totally worth it just exactly what you said. Yeah.
Exactly what she said.
Yeah, you'll see. You're gonna thank us.
And you're gonna have a favorite. And then you're gonna find us and you're gonna say, yes.
I can't believe I talked to him in person. Oh my god. Or not. Maybe she'll try. Give it a good shot.
What's your favorite line as your character, and can you say it in your character's voice?
I think I ate too much juice.
I remember when they were getting all tough, I would warm up to this, so this is why I remember it. I'm Sailor Mars, and I will right wrongs and triumph over evil. So I would warm up to it, so I remember my voice doing that, so it sticks with you.
So my favorite line was, I was hungover, and hers was, I'm going to save you.
Yeah. Or I have another one too. It's really nice, but it's such a meatball head. Oh, we call it a meatball head. You know, you're crazy, crazy.
Sailor Mars tattoo. Gross. Tattoo.
Am I on? Can you hear me?
Oh, Anthony, you are on.
All right. What are you up to today besides, visiting like other conventions? Like, what do you got, like, any shows lined up? I know you're doing Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Sam Sparks. Sam Sparks.
What are you doing, Linda?
What are you doing? What are you looking at? Let's see, I'm doing one that's called, shoot, hang on.
I know what it's called. I know, give it, I know, because I know what it's
Terrible. What's
The
wrong
little
with
kids are
you?
adorable. They're the band.
Well, that was Zuzu Pets. I forgot this one was Zuzu Pets. But there's another.
You're doing something.
There's a plane. Oh my god.
Mr. Cons, I mean, Mr. Cons.
Plane.
No.
Little spaceship. I can't remember what it's called. I got George in the Jungle on right now too. I was Magnolia, George in the Jungle. And also Cyber Chase, I think is doing a. No, it's not Paw Patrol.
I know it's the same thing.
Little Lights. Is it a kids show? Or
Yeah.
It's a
Is
show.
it Little Lights?
No, but when you said that, that's when she said
Cat. Kite plus cat on that too. She's doing tons of stuff.
There you go.
She goes, let's go. Say it. Say it. What are you in?
Oh, well, if you're watching Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the series right now, I do play Sam Sparks. So, that's on, Mysticons is coming out in August. Atomic Puppet, I think that might be just in Canada, I don't know. What else? Totally Spies is over, so, I know, it should be over.
I heard there was a thing about bringing it back, maybe. Like
Okay, that's the rumor, yes, we all are gonna now tweet that.
What's your favorite building?
My favorite building?
CN Tower.
The CN Tower, Toronto. I feel like this is fun. I love like game show questions. It's a good question though.
Can you voice act your favorite scene between Ray and Serena?
I feel like we did.
I feel like we just did, man.
I feel like every time there was a sweet, I've been waiting here forever. You're just here. I was eating. See you later. He's here. You got ice cream all over your face. Oh, stop it. I think that wasn't an actual scene. It was just sort of a. It seemed to go away all the time. Hello.
So, was it hard, like, at the beginning, voice acting together? Or was it just, like...
You mean in this show?
Yeah.
Well, the problem with this show, not the problem, the thing about this show, and most shows, is you do it all by yourself. So you go into the booth with the microphone, the headphones, and no one else is with you. And because this was a dubbing one, they had the whole picture up in front of us. We got to watch the show. We never got scripts, because they wanted apparently to keep it fresh. So that we wouldn't necessarily know what's going on, but it's like, how are we supposed to know what we're supposed to be saying? So it was like doing karaoke to a song you don't know. The words would come by and you wouldn't necessarily know why you were saying it. Because you might have had like the first line of the show, and then they fast forward 10 minutes of the show because your character's not in the show for 10 minutes, and suddenly the next line is, what are you doing? And you might be like, what are you doing? Or you might be like, what are you doing? Or what are you doing? You just didn't know. So you'd be watching and going, okay, here it comes, what's it gonna be? Oh, that's what I thought it was gonna be.
And for Sailor Moon, Sailor Mars, that was my Canadian story. Sailor Mars and Sailor Jupiter, we weren't always in all the episodes, so every once in a while we would record together, but we could record like 3 episodes in one day, and there was no context. So we had no, until I actually watched the series years later, I had no idea what was going to happen. Well, I kind of knew. I did know a little bit.
And then when we got to the end of like S series,
Oh yeah.
that I had a lot of lines in that one, so at the end, you know, everybody's dying around me, the world is falling apart and everything, and I'm doing my lines and everything, and I'm watching it for the first time going, no, like I'm doing the words going, no.
Break Central.
And then I sit there watching, right? And then they'd say, yeah, spoiler alert. And then they'd say, Linda, that was your line. And I go, oh, sorry. Sorry, excuse me.
We're not going to say any sorries.
We're going to just say sorry.
Canadianize us.
Hi. Building on the last question, with voice acting, is there any given time frame from when you first get to the script to when you to recording part?
Depends what you're working on. If you do advertisements for any kind of radio stuff, you never get the scripts ahead of time. Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs or any of the series stuff, we usually get the scripts well in advance so you can read it and see what's happening. But yeah, Sailor Moon was different because we didn't get scripts. But generally speaking, if it's a series, we know what's happening.
And so when you get the script, you can sort of look at it, and if there's lines that sort of seem like, my character wouldn't really necessarily say it like that, we'll put notes in there, like, okay, I'm going to change this line to whatever I think it should be, and then when you get into it, it's sort of like, can I change this line? And they'll often go, no, stop trying to write the script, Linda. But sometimes they say, yes, that's better, much better.
This is totally to digress from everything you just said, but if anybody watches Dark Matter, it's on the Sci-Fi Channel tonight at 9. I'm in it, so you might know, look like for thanks, and people are watching. Next Sci-Fi Channel, 9 o'clock.
How's it going?
Good.
I just was wondering if any of like the other Sailor Scout voiceovers and you guys ever reunite, like just to catch up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we never. We're besties in real life, so we just went to a cottage, which I don't know if they have cottages. Why would they? They're near the ocean, but a cottage where there's a lake, and we hung out last weekend. And we hang out.
Tuxedo Mask, yeah, he's a good buddy of ours, very good buddy. And like I said, Susan's right around the corner from me. But Stephanie Morgenstern, who was Venus, we don't see her that much because she's a busy little girl. I don't know if you've seen Flashpoint or X Company. She's a creator of that and a writer and stuff, so she's pretty amazing.
What about Emily Claire Barlow?
I see Emily Claire Barlow all the time. She's a fantastic singer. So she's a jazz singer. She works a lot in Toronto, but she's amazing. She's a friend of mine, so yeah, I see Emily.
I I'm not usually in front of a microphone, so I'm sorry if I'm not loud enough.
No, it was really bad.
I wanted to thank you for coming and let you know that you're the only TV show when I was 8 that I would wake up at 6 in the morning to see.
Yeah!
Also, my question is, how does voice acting differ from back when you were recording Sailor Moon than it does for your current voice acting? How is the process different? Is it better or worse?
The big difference for, especially for dubbing, is now they just put it on a computer and they just put the words up there, and as you say the words, like it's maybe all in green, all the words are in green, and then the word that you're supposed to say is in yellow. So you just follow along with the bouncing ball.
It's karaoke. It's talking karaoke. Well, for dubbing, for anime.
And when we did it for Sailor Moon, it was called the Rhythmo Band, and they literally took a piece of film, like a blank piece of film, and someone wrote out every single word, hand wrote on this film, every single line. This person did not have good hand.
No, it was awful.
And so they would be writing, like, oh, Darian, I love you so much. But that had to fit in with the lip flaps, like that. So it would be like, oh, Darian, like, you'd only have this many lip flaps, and it had to fit in there. And they had done it out every single beat. I don't know how they did it. They just sat there writing all the stuff. They must have been A, blind, and B, insane.
Just those two things. Well, now, and then for something like Cloudy with Jams and Meatballs, I'm in a room filled with the other actors. It's so much fun. And we voice the characters before they draw them. So, yeah, it's super easy. We don't have to, we have so much freedom, and there's so much ad-libbing with that show, too. So if Sam's sitting there, oh my God, I have to think about Sam's voice for a second, because I have all these voices in my head. Please, that didn't happen. No. And it becomes this thing like, he's not really. And then I'll be adding that. And then I'll have to actually draw my little no, he didn't just say that. Like that kind of, and it's so much easier and more freedom than that. Yeah, that's the fun stuff. It is the fun stuff.
Hi. Out of your respective bodies of work, what have been your favorite films or shows that you've worked on or roles that you've had the pleasure of voicing, aside from Sailor Moon, of course?
I like Brace Face. No one will remember Brace Face, but Brace Face. Yeah. See, I did that on purpose. I knew people would know. I was Nina Harbour, the bad girl. So that was a really fun show for me because she was really not a nice person. Although she kind of wasn't at the end. But yeah, Nina was fun.
I like playing villains more than anything. Villains are the most fun because they're so evil and they love themselves so much and they never win. And they're always so flabbergasted by the fact that they didn't win. So I played Wicked in Cyber Chase, and she's just this crazy witch. Well, look at you. Better still look at me. And she is just so off the wall crazy, and they let me really go crazy on it. So I just have an absolute blast. In fact, I was at Comic-Con one time, and I would go into do Cyber Chase by myself, and Christopher Lloyd he was my love interest. He was Hacker in the show. And we never got to ever work together. He was way far away somewhere else. We never were even, he wasn't even in LA or New York or wherever he was, and I'm doing it at the same time. We were just two ships that passed for the night. But here I am at this Comic-Con, and I'm right beside him. And I finally went over to him and I was like, I have to say hi to you, because we've known each other for a very long time, but we've never met. And he does one of his Christopher Lloyd. And I said, I'm Lynn Valentine. I was the voice of Wicked in Cyber Chase. And he went, oh, Wicked. That's like, you see this huge hug, and I'm like, I'm dying.
That's an honor.
Oh, it was totally. He was the nicest guy, too.
I was standing right there.
I went, this is Katie, and I smushed Katie's face.
I want to marry you.
Hello. I've seen your show and it looks so good, and I've always wanted to try and watch it, but I couldn't because the DVDs were super expensive. So can you please give us a short review for it?
What?
You wanted to see us the entire episode?
Well, just a short review of the series.
Let's see what that's related. Oh, I'm getting beaten up. Let me go to cook it.
At least just a short review a summary when I say review.
Okay, so I'll tell you this. I'll have to save the world.
Mars didn't get Tuxedo Mask. She didn't get
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I think you're going to have to go onto the internet and look up the storylines, otherwise these guys are going to kill you.
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
And Sailor Moon Crystal's on Crunchyroll.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
I'm just going to bring you around to do the
Hello.
Hi.
My interest in the show came from my son, who suckered my wife into watching the show, and then they told me about it, so I started watching the show too. And for the young lady that was on earlier, it was good cartoon, good animation, it was a good show, good stories, and that's what suckered me into it.
Nice.
And all this competition with animation and cartoons out there, that show caught my attention. So congratulations on that. Now, I was thinking, as that show was growing in my consciousness, this could be a movie. And I heard someone was talking about making a live-action movie
They're
of
crazy
Sailor
if they
Moon.
don't. If they
Sailor Moon.
don't, we will. They have to. Come on.
I heard it was in process.
There are rumors about it. I think we've had rumors about this for probably
I'm pretty
Somebody
sure they
was-
asked me to actually play Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
There was someone out there who was hired to write a script and everything, and I was wondering, why are we not hearing any more about it?
I think doing the same thing.
And especially all the superhero stuff going on.
I know.
Sailor Mars did. Sailor Moon, kill it.
Especially since we did Power Rangers.
And for the young lady that was and for the young lady in front of me, I personally would like to see you both cast your spells. I'd like to see you do that.
You want to call? Actually, the same as for the end. All right. Do you want to go first? Sure.
Okay. Mars, fire, ignite! Woo! Moon, cosmic power!
Hello. Well, I got like two questions. One, how did y'all get into voice acting, and what was your first voice acting?
Oh, first one. I went to theater school, and in theater school they have, you're doing everything. You're on stage, you're doing movement courses, you're doing dance courses, and one of the courses they had was microphone technique. And as soon as I put those headphones on, as soon as I got in front of the microphone, I went, this is what I want to do. I love this. I understand this. I get this. I want to do this. So when I graduated from theater school, I went over to my agent and I said, I think I want to do voice. And they said, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, you have to get a demo together. And I went, okay, well, listen to it. I'll wait. They're like, okay, that's good. So what we usually do is, we'll send you out for an audition. We'll probably audition you here right at the agency, and we'll just see how you do. And the very first thing I auditioned for, I got the part. So my agent just went, oh, yeah, you're gonna work. And I was like, okay. Whatever you want. And so I was really lucky. I got really, really lucky. And the first part I got was a butter commercial. Yeah, it was a butter commercial. I was like, it was sort of like this sort of granola head type. I like butter best on the top. And I was sort of like,
Start.
It's a fantastic commercial. They're still talking about it in Canada, I'm sure.
I feel like they're not. Probably not. So I do on camera and voiceover stuff, mostly voiceover stuff. But when I was in my early 20s, I was dating a real Tuxedo Mask. So Reno Romano was the first dairyman, and he was my boyfriend. And he just booked it, and they were still looking for Sailor Mars. And we said, you are Sailor Mars, so you should probably audition for this. And it was voiceover, and I was like, no, Reno, I'm going to be a big star, so, just stop it. But then I did audition for it, and then I got it. So Sailor Mars was my very first voiceover series, and that sort of got the ball rolling. So, yeah.
And then my second question is, have you ever been on another show doing another voice and you accidentally do the voice from your other show?
Sometimes they overlap. Yeah. You've only got one voice to work with, right? Yeah. But you try to kind of make it as separate as you can. Yeah. I I was doing a show called Yin Yang Yo. And I was all female villains in this. And one of the villains was called Smoke. It was Smoke and her brother Mirrors. And she was kind of a Sailor Moon, almost knockoff in a way. I mean, she had a ponytail, she had the meatballs, but she was very anime looking, and it was clear what they wanted, right? And so, I just went in that day, and I never knew what they were going to ask me to do. They were okay, this is what Smoke is, and da-da-da-da. So I went in a totally opposite direction. First I was like, do I just do Sailor Moon? Oh, no. So I did her, I can't even do her now. I would be your forever friend, or I don't rip your head off! Just so crazy, right? And so they loved it, they let me do this, everything. Then afterwards, when the whole show was over, I said, the director said, I love Smoke. I just thought she was so great. I said, yeah, it was hard because I didn't want to do Sailor Moon. I went, Sailor Moon. That's kind of why I got into this. I love Sailor Moon so much. Can you do an impersonation of Sailor Moon? I said, well, I actually was Sailor Moon. What do you mean? And I said, well, I was the voice of Sailor Moon. He's like, why did you do Sailor Moon for Smoke? Because that's why he had made this character. I was like, sorry, I didn't want to do the same. Sorry. Yeah. What did we give it to him?
All right. I think, the thing is, it's knock on wood, that it's been really super lucky for me that I have a lot of different shows, but they don't really overlap with the voices. The closest that I've ever come to having two of the same voice would be Alice from Totally Spies and Kayla from I'm on Inspector Gadget. So she's sort of Penny's best friend, and it does get there because she's a little bit of the comedic timing, and I can't even help it. It just goes to silly, and then I go, oh, sounds like Alex. But it's never at the same time, and normally when we walk in, it's just like this weird, your memory goes into, no, I know what I'm here for, I know what voice it is, and then they'll give you a reference, so then you really know. And I don't feel like it ever really overlaps.
Well, the hardest part too is when you're doing numerous characters in the same show, even more so in the same episode. And so they don't, you're talking to yourself. Sort of, there's one character here, and you're playing that character, and then there's this character over here, and you're playing that character too. And you have to make sure that they sound very different, or else people go, this is a lot like the Flintstones.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
You're back.
Okay, this time it's me. I may have manipulated my daughter into liking this show just a little bit. As a mom, is there anything that you manipulated your kids into watching so you didn't have to watch the annoying shows?
That's a really good question.
I don't know if I was manipulating them as much as
encouraging.
Well, sometimes I made fun of them too. So I would imitate whoever was. So Caillou wasn't really my favorite, and for some reason, every once in a while, I don't know if you guys got Caillou at all. It just pained me a lot. So I would, so that would come on, and then I would actually imitate, and then it kind of wrecked it for the kids. And like, God, now we hear you doing Caillou, and it just became kind of. Or sometimes I try to sway them onto my own show. I was kind of saying that. Claudia the Chance Meatballs will be on. Wyatt loves it, but my 10-year-old would rather watch other things. And I'm going to say it. I'm not even going to throw out any other shows. But they'll be on at the same time, and I can see Jet changing the channel. I'm like, it's a really good episode. That's, you know what happens with Sam? And I'll do that. And then sometimes I win, sometimes I don't.
I got my on this.
I thought that was your voice doing that. Great.
What is your favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I feel like you just stole that from me.
No, that's always my favorite. It's always been. I've watched it 1,000 times.
Are you serious right now?
Favorite movie.
Okay, I'm gonna say Rocky. I would have said that. I love Rocky. I could watch Rocky. I love Raiders. Who doesn't love Raiders? My brother is a storyboard artist. He does a lot of big films. He did Suicide Squad. He was a storyboard artist for that, and conception art. He's an amazing artist. And he got to meet Harrison Ford. But it was his wife. They were at some party, for some rap party or something he worked on with Harrison Ford, and his wife is talk, my brother's like, because he's like the biggest Star Wars fan on the planet. He's like, oh my god. And Sarah was just like, blah, blah, blah. I have 3 kids, I'll tell you all about them. Of course, Harrison Ford is like being really nice and charming, because he is. Probably talking about me, because I'm sure he likes me. He's a big fan of Sarah, he doesn't that movie. Anyways, my brother finally comes over and she's like, oh, you haven't met my husband, this is my husband Rob. He goes, and then he walks away. Rob's like, he gave me that cool Harrison Ford. Good boy, did you, buddy? Anyways, that's it. Rocky, you should watch Rocky.
Do you know what my favorite movie is?
Wait. No, I don't. Hang on. It's Moana.
Yeah.
Hold that right out of there.
It's a good one.
We've got just a couple minutes left, so we'll get these last 2 questions here.
So I know you talked earlier about how there's some of the episodes there was a lack of context when you're reading the scripts and doing your lines for the various episodes, but there seems to be a thread of similarity between what voice actresses like yourselves do and actresses in series and movies where they use a lot of heavy CGI. So you're basically talking to a green screen or a tennis ball in midair. Given that similarity, how do you think, if you were doing, if you were doing the live action, let's say a live action Sailor Moon movie versus the TV show, do you think A, it would be more or less difficult from an acting perspective, and B, would you think it would be more or less fun?
I can't stand doing on camera. I hate it. On camera doesn't love me and I don't love it. I'm so critical of myself every time I do something on camera. Like, you've got the biggest, most boggly eyes on the planet. So I get way too much in my own head for that. So I just find it so much easier doing voice for sure. Although I would love to do video games and stuff like that. We just don't have a lot of it in Canada yet.
Yeah. I would totally do it, and now that I have the context, and now that I know everything, now that I know everything.
Now that I know everything.
That will go on the internet, just that clip. Now that I know everything. Stop it. We have to play it anyway. It's a long story. We played a game, and I don't know anyway. I was playing with a bunch of never mature people. It's a long story. Anyway, to get back to what you were saying, now that I know the context, because I do the on-camera stuff, I don't love it either, but I still do it because I'm competitive and I need to do it. But I know that I would do a really good job of it if I were way younger, because I do have context. When I was Sailor Moon, I had no idea what was happening. I was just, crazy, screaming, saving the world, throwing flame snipers and all that, But now I have context to it, so yeah, I give it a shot.
Thank you.
Thanks, I don't even know how to answer your question.
All right. Thank you guys for being here. I love you guys so much. How often do you find yourself falling into characters' voices just off and on? And does it aggravate you or does it make you whatever?
It depends on what you're doing. When I was doing Sailor Moon, at the end of each show, or whenever we do a scene, anytime Sailor Moon's eyes moved, or she did anything, like this type of thing, they made me do a noise for it. They didn't know if they were being needed or not, but every single time she would look over, she'd go, oh, oh, oh. So I did that with everything. I would be sitting there watching the show, doing it, and I'd be like, oh, it makes you a crazy person. So I would get home at dinner time, we'd be sitting around our dinner table, and one of my kids would say, I don't like broccoli, and I go, oh. And they would be like, Mama's gone nuts. Pretty sure. Yeah, so that kind of thing creeps into your life for sure, and if you're doing a voice a lot, you do tend to bring it in. I would also walk around warming myself up, like if I could do that, I could go, then I knew that I could get the voice out, because I was always losing my voice. And my little 1-year-old would walk around behind me like, I'd say, are you making fun of me? And she said,
And I find that every once in a while, because now Jet kind of owns the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, he'll tell his friends, and this is how I normally sound when I'm talking. But I was walking down the hall and one of his buddies said, hey, are you Jet's mom? And I went, yeah. And I knew what he was going to say. So then all of a sudden I hear, then he said, are you on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? And I automatically go into Sam, oh yeah, I was on Cloudy with a sparks. But I can do that so that there is recognition so Jet doesn't look like a liar. You see, I have his back. Really, it is me. So then I start to talk like, so it's, yeah, so that's how it goes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys, this concludes our time. Round of applause.
Before we go, we're downstairs signing autographs. I know there are questions you haven't asked yet. Come by, ask, and say hi. It's always nice meeting all you guys, okay?
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming out, you guys.
We hope you enjoyed this panel at Tampa Bay Comic-Con. Please collect all your belongings and exit the room for the back doors that will make through the space for the next crowd. If you're interested in seeing the next available panel, please proceed to Ballroom D to line up. Thank you and enjoy your con.
Where do you watch us?